What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, live fire, amazing Brazilian style picanha with some pão de queijo, aka Brazilian cheesy bread. Coming up. This is a picanha. Pat it dry. And what I got here is an absolutely beautiful picanha. Picked this up from Meat and Bone. It's a marbling score 6 or 7, I believe. So it should have some really nice intramuscular fat. Still got a beautiful fat cap. A little bit lacking on this end, but that's all right. And the picanha is one of my favorite steaks out there. It's just got such good flavor, nice and tender. That big velvety fat cap on there is really hard to beat. And typically what I'll do at this point is slice it into individual steaks or cook it as a whole roast. That's really good. I did an amazing pastrami picanha one time. Highly recommend checking that video out. But today we're going to cook these in the traditional Brazilian steakhouse method, which is to pop these on a skewer, and I'm going to cook them over some live fire. And the reason I'm doing that is mostly because I've never done it, and it looks really cool. But also, I'm in the mood for some picanha. So what we got to do first is cut this thing into steaks, but instead of going with the grain, so our final cut is against the grain, because we're going to be slicing this vertically downward, we got to cut against the grain to make some steaks. And if you look at the grain structure of this meat, you can see that it's clearly running in this direction, so I'm going to cut a bunch of steaks going this way. And of course, you can make these as thick or as thin as you see fit. I'm thinking a good 1.5 to 2 inches is what we're going to be aiming for today. Not much to it. And at this point, I'm sure everyone watching this has cooked picanha before, but if you haven't, it's kind of similar to a tri-tip in that, you know, it's different shapes down at one end than the other end. So if you're cooking for a crowd, it's a great cut because some of the smaller ends you can cook to well done or medium well for children or whatever, and keep these big boys nice and medium rare. And there we go, some beautiful steaks. As you can see, we got some really nice marbling in there, big beautiful fat cap. We're gonna leave that as is. And it's also interesting looking at these, this one feels significantly less tender than this one down at this end. You know, just you can kind of see it wanting to pull apart. I think the true picanha steaks are from the smaller end. But either way, next thing we need to do is pick a few of these and pop them onto a skewer. And as far as skewers go, they come in all shapes and sizes. This is the one I picked up on Amazon. It's nice and long. I think it's 24 inches. And simply enough, I'm just bending these in half and we're just gonna go right through the middle, trying not to stab ourselves on the other end. Beautiful. Steak number 2. Just trying to keep this level with the table so it doesn't come out all wonky. Beautiful. And I probably don't need to cook 3 of these, but you know, while I'm here. Beautiful. And there we have it. 3 beautiful picanha steaks on the skewer. God, that's a beautiful sight. And as far as seasoning these up, I'm going to keep it real traditional and use just salt. And from what I gather, down in Brazil and Argentina and places where this style of cooking is really prevalent, they use a really thick kind of rock salt to season their food. But I don't have any of that, so I'm going to go ahead and just use some good old-fashioned Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. And again, that's because I don't have any on hand. And also, experimenting with new salts always kind of makes me worried because I never know how much to add, and I don't want to over salt these and ruin them because that would just be upsetting. But I also don't want to under season them, which is less of a problem because you can always add salt at the end. But I'm pretty comfortable with kosher salt, so I can usually eyeball just the right amount to make sure we have enough salt but not too much salt. And of course, we're going to hit all the sides and edges. Don't forget that beautiful fat cap. And of course, don't forget the sides, folks. Come on, rookie move. So just a nice healthy coating of this stuff. If you're using Morton's or table salt or something, you're definitely gonna want to use a lot less. But again, you gotta get to know your salts, folks. And because when we serve these, we're gonna be taking them and slicing them this way, I'm gonna let these dry brine for a good few hours. And that's because if we cook them right now, I feel like this first layer would be really salty. And then once we get towards the center of the steaks, they'll be really bland. So by letting them sit like this, uncovered in the fridge for a few hours, hopefully that salt will penetrate deep in all the way through, and we'll end up with some beautiful, tasty, delicious picanhas on a skewer. So we'll check back in a little bit. While we wait, let's go ahead and make some pão de queijo, or some Brazilian cheesy bread. Starting out by going into our stand mixer with the paddle attachment with some tapioca flour, or tapioca starch. Ooh. Then, in a small pot, we're gonna go in with some whole milk, as well as some oil, and bring that up to a simmer. And once that's nice and boiling, in we go. And get that mixed up. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So what we cook outside. And while this comes together, we'll go in with a pinch of salt and 2 eggs. And once a nice dough has formed, we're gonna go in with some Parmesan cheese. That's freshly grated Parmesan Reggiano. And some freshly grated low moisture mozzarella. Beautiful. Get that all nice and mixed in. And after a few minutes of mixing, we've got a beautiful, soft, nice, smooth looking dough. I'm gonna use a little ice cream scooper here and just start kind of dolloping out some little cheese puffs here. And of course, you can make these as big or as small as you like. Beautiful. As you can see, I made these a little smoother and left these a little more rough around the edges. My theory is that these ones will get better because those little bits will get kind of darkened and crispy, but I guess we'll find out. So into a 375-degree oven, these go for about 20-30 minutes. And just like that, out of the oven these come, and I gotta say they are looking absolutely beautiful. Now, this batch made 2 full sheet trays of this. This is the second batch because with the first one, I didn't cook by time, I cooked by color. And this is one from that batch, and as good as it looks, it's quite hard, as opposed to these ones, which were just in there until they came up to an internal temp of about 200 degrees. These ones are nice and soft. When you break them apart, they're just cheesy and stretchy. Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff. Highly recommend making these. They come together so quick. Been about 4 or 5 hours on this dry brine, and as you can see, there's no visible salt on the meat. It looks nice and dark and red, which means the salt has penetrated, and these things are ready to cook. So let's go ahead and fire up the pit. So I got a couple logs of post oak in there, catching really easily on that Fogo Charcoal that I lit up real quick. And I know I've said many times that the mini Chud box here is not necessarily a wood cooker. And that's true. If you were to shut this down, that wood would smolder and you'd get a lot of smoke, and it'd be really hard to control temps. And because there's not much airflow on this pit, you'd end up with some real smoky food. But I do not intend on closing this lid. Instead, I'm kind of using this thing like a Santa Maria style pit or an open fire pit. But we're gonna just toss our skewer right on top, get some nice smoke on there, get some dancing flames. So we're gonna let these logs burn down just a wee bit, and then we'll throw on our meat. All right, we got a nice fire going in there. The smoke has died out from that initial burn of the logs. So now we're gonna grab our beautiful steaks, and we're just gonna pop them right on in. Beautiful fit. I've just got a small piece of metal that is kind of resting on the 2 side rails to hold this up, and we're just gonna let these cook away for a bit. And of course, if you don't wanna try and find a perfect sized piece of metal, you could just put the grate back in, but it seems kind of counterintuitive to use a grate while these are already on a skewer, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. It's been just a few minutes, got some flames licking up, and oh yeah, starting to get some lovely color on there. Nice golden brown on these fat caps. I'm just gonna kind of keep rotating them, make sure these things are cooking nice and evenly. Gotta say, I am loving how this is looking. This is working out perfectly. We're getting some beautiful color on there, but that fat is starting to render, getting some really nice color on there, that nice Maillard reaction, and all that beautiful live fire grill flavor. Ah, love it. Honestly, this is a really convenient way to cook steaks because you can just kind of roll it, check the other side, give that a little love. If you want to render the fat cap, just aim that down. Very pleasant. And you could easily fit like 4 of these on here if you have to feed a crowd. That'd be kind of fun. All right, folks, and just like that, off these come. Rocking right around 120 on that one, closer to 130 on that one, 135-ish on that one. All right, we might get some medium steaks. That's all right. Hopefully these don't carry over too much. But regardless, I'm gonna let these cool, and then we'll go ahead and slice on in. Got a lot of juices coming out while these are resting, so oops, oh no. You know I'm dipping the bread in that, right? All right, folks, I think it's time to slice into these bad boys, and to be honest, I'm a little nervous. I think I may have overshot them a little bit. I guess there's only one way to find out. Nice thin slice, looking good. Got some nice pink in there. Nice sharp knife helps. Oh yeah, not too shabby. Go for one up top. It is interesting trying to cook 3 steaks at 3 different parts of an uncontrollable fire to the same doneness. But yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. We'll go for this top one. This one is closest to the door, so we'll see. Beautiful, not mad about that. And these end pieces are always so good because they got all that extra crust on the outside. I gotta go for it. Oh my God, that fat is it just melts. I'm at a loss for words here, folks. That is unbelievable. The live fire smoke flavor on there. This is a high quality picanha too, so that definitely helps, but all that roasted flavor on the outside, so juicy, so beefy. I gotta find another piece of that fat. That is just unbelievably crispy. Wow, oh my God. Yep, that's phenomenal. Kind of fun, you know, great little presentation. I feel like I'm working at Fogo Charcoal right now. Slice it thin, kind of like a pastor or something. Get some of that table juice. But yeah, tell me you don't want to take a bite out of that. Cooked over post oak. And kind of like a C-link of sausage. I just love the way that looks, you know? Nice, beautiful little fold over of perfect meat. I'm surprised this top one, I think, is the most overcooked, or, you know, not rare, which is unique because it was closest to the opening of the door. So I figured that one was gonna be the rarest, but not the case. Still good though. Oh my God. The flavor is just out of control. You know, it's interesting. I've seen a lot of videos where people compare this to regular steak style, and it's pretty unanimous that cooking this like a steak as opposed to this way is better, but this is just something completely different, and I'm loving it, and I will definitely be doing this again. Such a fun cook, too. Quick, but active, entertaining. Can't forget about these little guys. These are so good. Cheesy. Get a little mop sauce on there, a little table jus. I'm having a little meat party out here.
Did you say steak?
I did.
It's good. You like my shirt? Those ones you blow in and you play it.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those bands. Well, because it has like tour dates.
Let us know in the comments. So we're going Brazilian steakhouse style picanhas with some pau de queijo. Huh? Pretty good.
Pau de queijo?
I think I said that in the wrong accent, but I think I may have pronounced it right. But these I cooked over live fire on the old Chud box over there, and now you need to grab your little tongs, and I'm just gonna get a slice going. Now grab it, like we're at Fogo.
I've never been, so I wouldn't know.
And there you go.
And I do a little...
You can, that's just juice. Oh, I gotta get you one from this side.
Looks like roast beast.
Yeah, this is like the best roast beef you can get.
So juicy and delicious.
It's good, right? It's tasty. I'm really glad you didn't leave earlier, because otherwise I would have consumed all of this and immediately gotten gout.
Well, I don't know how much I'm going to be consuming to offset that
Yeah,
for
right?
you, but...
Don't look at it, just try it. I need you to...
Oh my God, I almost lost it.
I gave her a real fatty piece. She's not really fond of the fatty piece.
Okay, I like fatty brisket.
Yeah, well, yeah, you like rendered fat.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know, I want to get
Is this going to be chewy?
I don't think so. We'll get your take on it. I should have let that dry brine sit a little longer.
Ooh, yeah, that is salty.
But that fat, though, right? It just melts.
Yeah.
For how thick of a fat cap it is.
Yes, that was not gross to me.
It's really hard to nail medium rare all the way across. So like right here we got some kind of medium well. Down here we got some nice medium rare. A little bit of... It is not your time yet, ma'am. The taste tester's here. But yeah, like I'm saying, it's kind of like cooking a tri-tip where you get a little bit of everything. Great way to feed a crowd.
Yeah, something perfect for everyone.
And it's just so... tender. You're right though, this will make for some great roast beef sandwiches tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. The next time I do an event, that's what I'm serving.
The little
That's good.
slider. Oh man.
I'm gonna eat the most of this off camera, but before I go, I think we all know what time it is.
I think it's time for the official taste test. What do you think?
All right, I think she's going. All right, y'all, that is it. That is how to make some absolutely incredible churrascaria style picanha. I highly recommend giving this one a try. It really was a great experience. I've never done that before, and especially with that live fire flavor from that post oak on the mini Chud box and those flames dancing. Oh my God, it was fantastic. The crust, the fat, that nice medium rare meat, and also those little bread balls were so good. I know I didn't really touch on them much during the taste test, and that's because I've been eating them all day long. And if you're new to baking and you want a really quick and easy side dish to whip up to go along perfectly with some steaks, I highly recommend it. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!